I mean, a team makes that many threes. There's just only so much you can do. I'm pulling up Mikal Bridges' baskets right now, and it was smooth. I mean, in the second half. So let's just wait and see on the Mikal Bridges thing. I know it's funny to laugh at and joke. Yes, they did give up 5 first-round picks for him. This little step-back baseline jumper against Horford, that's a nice-looking shot. All right? Again, it's just kind of, it might be how our brain operates. It goes in. Hey, great shot. Good-looking shot, buddy. It goes out. Hey, you're a fucking idiot, and I can't believe we spent 5 first-round picks on you. What are you thinking? You owe us. You robbed us blind, and you should be in a federal penitentiary probably. Little corner three. I mean, that was a quick-looking shot. I never even saw the hitch, really. People kept talking about a hitch. There was maybe a tiny hitch in all of those misses. I was more so, that release point is just bizarre. I mean, that is a bizarre release point. A puzzling release point, to say the least. But again, Jason Tatum looked incredible last night. The Celtics are just doing Celtics things. There's just so many ways that they can beat you and attack you. You know, I mean, they went crazy attacking Cat. I mean, they just did. Early on in the game, they went after him immediately. Cat was in a deep drop. They're shooting pull-up threes off of screens. They're getting Cat involved in the actions. And a lot of this, again, is the fact that these guys haven't played basketball together. This is really the first time. I know that they have played some guys in the preseason and stuff like that. But this is ultimately really the first time that we've seen the Knicks, this iteration of the Knicks at least, on the court together in a meaningful basketball game where they're going up against another team that's playing their guys. Okay? So keep that in mind. But there was some defensive miscues. I think some guys were a little bit lost on where they were supposed to be. The Celtics team will do that to you. They move the ball around. They're all great three-point shooters, so you got to have your head on a swivel ready to go at all times. But it is a concern for the Knicks, I would say. Of course, your team, people have said, was built to beat this Celtics team specifically. That's why you made all the moves you did in the offseason. And opening night, you get the shit kicked out of you by that Celtics team. Probably is not the best feeling things in the world. Surprised New York didn't switch on ball screens much. Well, see, this is a problem for the Knicks. And that clip right there, we're watching some of the highlights back on the stream. That clip right there, that's Deuce McBride. This is a video that's talking about Cat, but that is a horrible gamble right there by Deuce McBride to basically double team Tatum and leave Peyton Pritchard wide open in the corner. I mean, no reason for that whatsoever. No reason for that at all. Just a puzzling, head-scratching play, to say the least. But one of the concerns I would have for the Knicks, just if we're diving deep into a preseason game, is you can have a bunch of switchable wings. That's all good. OG Anunoby is an incredible defender. Didn't think he was great last night, but an incredible defender. Mikal Bridges is a good defender. Didn't think he was great last night. He got torched a few times, but, that's going to happen. They've got some good defenders, some good depth. But Cat and Brunson, call it what it is, they're both bad defensive players. And a team like the Celtics, hey, I'm a Mavericks fan. I've seen it firsthand. They're going to go at you. They're going to find the weakest point you have defensively, and they're going to hunt him repeatedly, or them. I'm just hopeful because last year in the finals, the Celtics totals were technically beatable, so maybe it's possible. And, everyone talks shit about the Mavericks and their defense last year, which I thought was just a bizarre take on the final series because I don't know how it ended up getting spun to Mavericks defense, Luka's defense, when in reality, the Mavericks, if you just looked at the Celtics numbers throughout the regular season and the postseason, the Mavericks actually played some pretty good defense against the Celtics. And the Mavericks defensive scheme kind of is what you have to do. Where, hey, we're gonna run you off the 3-point line, but then we also have a rim protector that's able to help us down low. Okay, so you're not gonna get shots at the rim, and we're gonna make sure we run you off the 3-point line. That's what you have to do. The thing is the Mavericks offensively just turned into a bunch of fucking pumpkins in that series. Just turned into some pumpkins, and you basically have to go band for band with this Knicks team, or with the Celtics team if you want to beat them. And that's another tiny concern I have. I did think the Knicks offense I thought was fine. I mean, they scored 22 points in the fourth quarter, which was entire garbage time. I mean, the fourth quarter was a complete and total shit fest. But up until then, 24 points in the first quarter, 31 second quarter, 32 second quarter, or third quarter, 55% from the field in total. Their offense really wasn't that bad. But the problem is they went 11 of 30 on threes. If the other team is shooting 31 more threes than you, that's not, you're probably going to lose that game. I mean, that's just what this team, that's where this team is at. You're probably going to lose the game. The Celtics bomb so many threes, you almost have to fight fire with fire. And then in a way, they're almost baiting you to do that because they know there's not a team in the league that can go band for band with us when it comes to shooting threes. I'm looking at it right now. So last night, the Celtics had a 164 offensive rating. That's pretty good. I would say that's pretty solid. But if we look at this Mavericks series, I just find this interesting because it's just the way that this series gets talked about as if it was a defensive disaster class from the Mavericks is just really funny to me. I mean, throughout the postseason, this was the best offense in the league last year. Their series against the Heat, 129 offensive rating, 125 offensive rating, 125 offensive rating. Cleveland, 135, 121, 118, 129. Indiana, 118, 131, 123. Then you get to this Mavericks series, 117 in game 1. That was below their average. 110 in game 2, well below their average. 115 in game 3, below their average. 85 in game 4, and then 119 in game 5. I mean, really, it was the Mavericks offense that let them down in that series. What's the defensive solution to stop the Celtics? I mean, you got to just be on a string, fly around the court, run guys off the three-point line, force them into taking tough shots. When they get down the floor and they get your defense rotating and they can get the ball to the middle of the floor, every single player they have on the court is a good decision maker. They get the ball to somebody in the middle of the court on a 3-on-2 situation. Somebody's open for three, and to put it lightly, I mean, you're fucked. You're fucked. You're giving up an open three to a good three-point shooter. They've built this disgusting team. They have. And, I mean, giving up 61 threes. Now, there's another way you can look at it for the Knicks where it's like, hey, we just played a team that made 29 threes. There might be a problem with our, three-point defense. Knicks had problems with the three-point defense at times last year. There might be a problem with it. Teams might smarten up and realize, hey, Brunson, Cat, we can go at these guys and we can get their defense in compromised positions. Like, we don't have to. We don't have to be super scared of OG and Mikal because there's weak defenders on the court. The East really forgot how good the Celtics was and thought the four teams had caught up. Well, I think a lot of it has to do. I've said it at the offseason. I've been scared to say it because I want it to not be true, and I don't want you guys to get mad at me, as a Mavericks fan by saying this. I would be absolutely floored if the Celtics do not win the finals again. I mean, I'd be shocked. I don't know what would have to go wrong for them to not win it again. Just straight up. The Knicks are a very good basketball team, and I wouldn't take this result to mean much of anything. These early season results, they often can trick you. This is a new basketball team. They're still gelling. They're still clicking. They're still playing alongside one another. They're still figuring out each other's tendencies. Where am I supposed to be on defense? This, that, and the third. Like, it's going to be February when the Knicks start clicking. That's just the truth. The other teams have a chance if Tatum is playing like last year's Tatum, but if the new shot is real, it's tough. Yeah, if Tatum's hitting 40% on pull-up jumpers this year, pull-up three-point jumpers, that's, I mean, and also if they're putting up 60 threes, I mean, they're not going to put up 61 threes a night, but they shoot more three-pointers than everybody. We've seen, there's a concern about this that I want to talk about. We'll touch on it a little bit later, but we're seeing this new trend. We saw it in the preseason. We saw a little bit last night of teams just saying, hey, we're shooting just bomb threes. Just bomb away. The Mavs' best chance at beating the Celtics in the finals is someone else beating them in the early rounds. Yeah, that is true. Now, I will say this, though. If we're already having this conversation, we have yet to see the Oklahoma City Thunder play basketball. Their roster construction does provide some interesting problems for the Celtics, I think, actually. Because they do have a bunch of switchable, rangy defenders. They have some good rim protectors. They have smart decision makers and guys who can hit threes. So they kind of have the formula to do it. And this Knicks team, once they get rolling, I think they could I think they could give the Celtics some trouble. But offensively for the Knicks, and I was kind of concerned about this. I think the Knicks offense is going to be really, really good. I think they're going to put up really good numbers. But it was disjointed. Again, their offense was fine, but it was a little disjointed at times. You know, a lot of your turn, my turn with Cat and Jalen Brunson. Now, we've seen this. We saw this in the finals. We saw this all last year with the Celtics. Just with their defensive personnel, with how switchable they are, with how versatile they are defensively. You know, pick and pop isn't really an option. The pick and roll gets taken away from you. So this Brunson-Cat two-man game, which I think over the course of the season is going to be very, very good and lethal, this is not a matchup where that really shows. You know, this isn't a matchup where you're going to see that come to the forefront. OG was just kind of a ghost out there. Again, defensively, I didn't think OG was very good. I thought that he was late on closeouts. I thought his rotations were bad. I thought there was a few possessions where OG Anunoby was just floating by himself, not guarding anybody because he gambled on a steal, or he got beat and then never fully recovered, or he died on a screen. Questionable stuff from OG last night. I don't know what was going on there. Josh Hart, offensively, this is a really hard matchup for Josh Hart. A team like this Celtics team, which on offense and defense, they're going to figure out your weakest points, your weakest links, and, you know, abuse you because of that. Josh Hart, who cannot space the floor, just standing there. Luke Cornett's guarding him and sagging off. Al Horford's on him and sagging off. That's scary. Lots of discourse about wings last night on Twitter with those Mikal, OG, and J-Mac performances. Yeah. Yeah, those three all had rough nights. Anyways, I'm not ready to jump to too many conclusions in a negative way for the Celtics team, or this Knicks team. Deuce McBride looked incredible last night. He looked really good. So they have that going for them. Daddy A got some minutes. His three ball looks good. I mean, he got some early minutes out there. They said that he was going to be out there. His three ball looked pretty good. Jericho Sims is just no. I don't see it. I don't believe it, and I don't think it.